music scenes around Stillwater and Oklahoma City of the 1980s and 90s. The Red Dirt Rangers have parlayed their vocal harmony, skilled instrumentation, and songs steeped in the lyrical traditions of folk music into being the most representative Red Dirt group from Oklahoma. While many musicians have been part of the group over the years, the three primary members have remained Ben Hahn, Brad Piccolo, and John Cooper, who started as friends and evolved into a band. Born March 5, 1957 in Brunei, Borneo to mother Lucy Ung, guitarist Ben Hahn first found musical inspiration in his brother's record collection, where he was especially taken by Marty Robbins. He started playing guitar in church in Malaysia when he was 12, then played for a few years in cabaret bands before relocating to Oklahoma in 1982, where he worked for OU Health Sciences through 1999. In 1982, one of Ben's colleagues at OU introduced him to John and Brad. Born April 22, 1961 in Stillwater to Don and Frankie Piccolo, Brad Piccolo was raised in Oklahoma City with his sisters Jamie Burnett and Leslie Piccolo. His first musical influences came from his parents' record collection, and he started playing guitar at age 15 when he received a Fender Mustang electric guitar for his birthday. He took a few lessons and, after graduating Northwest Classen High School, moved to Stillwater in 1979, where he met John Cooper. They started going to Willie's Saloon, saw Jimmy LaFave, and began going out to the farm where musicians gathered regularly to jam, especially after bars closed in Stillwater.
Oh, sweet mama, your daddy's got them female blues.
John Cooper was born March 24, 1958 in Oklahoma City to parents Hank Cooper and Nancy Smiley. Raised with his sisters Lori and Cheryl, John graduated Putnam City High School in 1976. Cooper's first musical experience was singing in church choirs. After moving to Stillwater in 1976, he rented a house with friend Danny Pierce in 1979 that became known locally as The Farm. The Farm became a primary meeting place for musicians from around Stillwater, and where the constant jamming and exchanging of musical ideas led to the iconic spot often being cited as the birthplace of Red Dirt music. Before too long, Cooper met Piccolo, who had a mandolin, and showed John a few chords. Piccolo then said, "Now you know 1,000 songs." The first semblance of a gig between future members of the Red Dirt Rangers occurred in 1981 at Aunt Molly's Coffee House, including original bass player Bob Wiles. The Coffee House was an open microphone setting in the Oklahoma State Student Union. The group did not play formally until the late 1980s, when Cooper, Piccolo, Hahn, and others would get together because of the lack of a music scene in Oklahoma City. They would jam on covers and work on their early originals. Jimmy LaFave came by their place one night and invited them to his annual Stillwater reunion show at Willie's Saloon in 1988. As a result of the success of that performance, the Red Dirt Rangers formed and had their official paid debut in March of 1989 at an arts festival in the Paseo district of Oklahoma City. Piccolo lived in Austin at the time, where he played in another band and would drive up from Texas to play with the Rangers. While keeping their day jobs, the Rangers played around once a month, experimenting with various musical configurations, one of which involved two accordionists, one on rhythm and one on lead. Piccolo relocated to Oklahoma City, and the band recorded their first album in 1992, a cassette-only release intended as a demo, Cimarron Soul, produced by Brad. Later in 92, the Rangers dropped their accordion players and added Dale Pierce, who played in various incarnations of Garth Brooks' band, drummer Scott Buxton, Bob Wiles on bass, and Dave Clark on guitar. The band recorded their first proper album in 1993, Red Dirt, at Bill Belknap's Long Branch studio in Tulsa, and called in Red Dirt luminary Tom Skinner to help with the mixing. The group began to get better gigs and played in New York City in 1993, which turned into more dates in upstate New York. In 94, the band decided to tour Oklahoma in a school bus and do 30 shows in 30 days across the state. The Rangers played from Black Mesa to Wilburton at clubs, weddings, festivals, and campfire gigs at state parks. They also met multi-instrumentalist Benny Craig in Tahlequah on the tour, and he started playing fiddle and steel in the group in time for the 1994 independent recording, Oklahoma Territory. The album was a watershed moment for the band as they enlisted legendary producer Lloyd Maines in Lubbock, Texas, and had their first taste of national chart success in the developing Americana radio format. Continuing to play regionally, the Rangers used the disc as a springboard to Europe, where they played a trucker festival in Switzerland in 1997. On returning to the States, the Rangers recorded a one-off track for the Lazy SOB compilation, The Songs of Route 66. As a result, the band negotiated a deal with Lazy SOB to record their next album and continued touring until '99, when they began laying down Rangers Command in Austin, Texas. Again, working with Lloyd Maines, the band added Alvin Crow on fiddle and Mandocaster for one track, Cindy Cashdollar from Asleep at the Wheel, and Bob Dylan's band on dobro and steel guitar, and rough country sizzler Dale Watson on electric guitar on another track. The group's 2000 CD, Ranger's Command, included a cover of Prince's 1999 and made it to number 21 on the Americana chart in January of 2000. That success led to constant regional touring, ceasing only in the spring of 2002 to record a new album with Steve Ripley at the legendary Church Studio in Tulsa. Released independently in 2002, Staring Down the Sun marked a shift in personnel for the group as they recruited drummer Jimmy Karstein, known for his work with a number of rock and blues luminaries. Also on the recording are Muskogee trombonist and trumpeter Lee Northleaf, guitarist Perry Buffalo Ware, Rocky Frisco, Steve Ripley, Bob Childers, and Byron Birdline. Dwight Twilley makes an appearance on vocals, as well as being the topic of one song, Dwight Twilley's Garage Sale.
Dwight Twilley's Garage Sale. This really happened to me. Beetle buttons and 8-tracks. Monster magazines.
While Piccolo and Cooper wrote several songs on the album, as did Bob Childers and Brandon Jenkins, Bob Wiles also co-wrote a few tunes on the record as his swan song performance with the band due to carpal tunnel syndrome, as well as just a general need for a change after 13 years with the group. About this time, the Rangers began working with steel player, fiddler, and guitarist Randy Crouch, and have kept touring ever since. The Rangers added another element to their musical performance repertoire by releasing a children's album in 1999, Blue Shoe, music for kids of all ages, which garnered them gigs at elementary schools and other children's activities across the state. In 2004, the group survived a brush with death in a helicopter crash that took the life of the pilot and another passenger. Brad, Ben, and John went along for a ride while they were waiting to perform at a birthday party in Cushing. After the helicopter went down in the Cimarron River due to hitting a power line, the three men held on to each other for over an hour and a half while clinging to the crashed aircraft and waiting for help to arrive. The experience not only gave them new perspectives on life, the resulting medical costs, along with witnessing the problems Bob Childers had with getting health care he needed, inspired the group and many friends to start the Red Dirt Relief Fund to help musicians and music industry professionals from Oklahoma in need. The fund puts on the Bob Childers Gypsy Cafe each year in Stillwater to raise funds for the project. In 2007, the Rangers released Ranger Motel, again produced by Steve Ripley and featuring their version of Jimmy LaFave's Red Dirt Roads that inspired the band's name, as well as a nod to Stillwater, a cover of the Stones' Wild Horses, a crowd favorite in Soul Satisfaction, and Turn This Train Around. Also featured on the album is the keyboard work of Augie Myers, known for his work with the Sir Douglas Quintet, among many others. In 2009, Brad and John performed the roles of Woody Guthrie and Bob Wills, respectively, in the one-act play Time Changes Everything, about the two musical luminaries meeting, and written by John Woolley and Thomas Connor. In 2013, the group released Lone Chimney, again produced by Steve Ripley, and showcasing their mastery of the Red Dirt music mix of blues, honky-tonk, bluegrass, and folk on 12 songs, including guest appearances by Lloyd Maines, John Fulbright, and Fats Kaplan. In 2016, the band recorded 3 nights at the Blue Door in Oklahoma City for a live album that would be released in 2018. In 2017, John Cooper worked as a development specialist for KOSU Radio and lived in Lone Chimney with his wife, Erica Cooper. Ben Hahn lived in Stillwater with his wife, Becky Roberts, and worked for the Iowa Tribe of Oklahoma's Eagle Sanctuary. And Brad Piccolo resided in Tulsa, where his biggest fans and encouragers are daughters Isabel Sky Piccolo and Ruby Star Piccolo. Also in 2017, for their long-standing work as Oklahoma musicians, bearing the primary torch for Red Dirt music in the state, as well as picking, harmonizing, and singing songs related to the Oklahoma experience since the 1980s, the Red Dirt Rangers were inducted into the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame.